While the canopy and the fuselage is drying, we'll just start working on the wings. So first we'll take the wings out. There's a couple of tabs here you need to cut, and one actually up the end here you need to cut too, to take the wings out. Okay, now there'll be a lot of pieces to poke out in these wings. Okay, so all these holes here will need to be punched out, and this one here. So that's one wing. Next one. Okay, so in the wings you should have left and right set. Okay, so these lines here are going to be on the outside of the wings. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn the wings over so these half cuts here are actually facing down. Okay, so they're going to be facing down like that, and we're going to get our cardboard bracing. So this is some bracing that goes behind those half cuts. We're going to bend the wings on the half cuts. So these bracing pieces, which are just bits of paper, sticky paper, these will go behind the half cuts just to reinforce them when we bend them. So we'll just break these out of the sheet. Okay, there's one. And the next one. Now these pieces aren't going to be seen. They're going to be inside the wings, so don't be too worried about it. Okay, so these ones, you can see we're going to have identical sets, so they're going to go on either wing. Okay, like so. Okay, so what you need to do is just sort of work out which wing they go on. Okay, here we go. So you can tell by this this cutout here. This cutout here matches the servo arm cutout. Okay, now this is where you'll have to refer to the manual. I'm just going to work on one wing and show you the technique. Okay, this wing here. So there's two places where you're going to have to put a mark on the wing to when we stick this on. So one of those places is, if I can show you it, there's a little notch here. Actually, hold on. I'm just going to orientate this so we've got the same orientation as the instruction manual. Here we go. So here's the same orientation as the instruction manual. Okay, so we've got this point here, which is right there. So right there, and we put a little dot there. And this one here, it's actually going to be right here. So we'll put a dot there as well. So they're the dots that you're going to line. You're going to line this up with that, and on this end, this one here is going to be lined up with that. Okay, so it's easier to refer to the instruction manual and see where those dots need to go exactly. So now we're just going to peel this off. Okay, this is very sticky, so make sure you don't accidentally drop it on the wing. Okay, what we're going to do is just line it up here. So I'm going to line it up with the dot on the right here first, and then with the left. There we go, and just press it down. Okay, so that's stuck to the inside of the wing, and that's just going to support these half cuts when we come to bending them. Okay, so go ahead and do the other wing, and then we'll look at how to bend them. So now it comes about we're actually going to bend these half cuts in the wings. So what you're going to need is a nice sharp edge. I like to use a hobby mat here. It's got a nice sharp edge you can bend it on. I think the corner of a table is a little bit more rounded. You really need something sharp you can use. Okay, so we just sit this on here, so you can see that we're lining this up. All right, there's the cut there. Okay, and you line it up at the other end as well. So up here, we're going to line it up as well. So that line all the way from here to the other end. So what we're going to do is just bend it and just run our fingers down there like that. Okay, so bend it down to a good 60-degree angle. And then just move along to the next one. Same thing again. Just bend it along that line there. Okay, once more, next line. So there's quite a few lines here. So hold the top of the wing with my left hand there, hold the top of the wing flat as you push this down. Okay, don't worry about bending it too much, it's fine. You've got the piece of paper on the back there, and that's going to stop it from totally breaking. Okay, so just make sure you get your lines lined up, same line at both ends. So move it to the next one. Okay, I'm just going to continue here, and there's just 2 or 3 more to go. Okay, 2 more lines. This one and 1 more. Last one. Okay, so once we've done that, we should end up with the wing looking something like this. Okay, you can see it's got a very nice bend in it. So what we're going to do is gently fold it over and just make sure that all of those cracks in the middle there will bend evenly and equally. Even just sort of roll it back and forth very gently. Let's flip over to this end. Okay, see this one here doesn't have much of a bend. We'll just bend it a little bit more. Okay, so just rolling it very gently like that. Just making sure all the bends in the middle at the front of the wing there can bend evenly. Okay, there we go. So we repeat the process with the other wing. Alright, next we need to mark out the line where this carbon rod goes here. So what we're going to do, without putting any glue on it, we're just going to slide the tabs in on the bottom of the wing there. There we go. So just remember this hole here is going to be on the top of the wing. So this is obviously the right wing, and it folds over like that. Okay, what we're looking for is this. This carbon rod comes right in front of this hole here. So we're just going to hold that in place there without putting any glue on the wing. And we're just going to draw a few marker lines, just like this. Just so we know where to put the glue on the wing. And we'll just take it off again. Okay, so that's the line there we need to put the glue on the wing when we come to glue the wing on. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and we'll do that straight away. Okay, what we're going to do on the body here, we're going to put glue all the way along in this little crease here, in the little crevice between that piece of foam, all the way up to about here at the front of the wing. And we're also going to put a few dots of glue on each one of these, and a little bit in between as well. So we're just basically gluing the bottom of the wing. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. I'll go from the bottom here. Okay, so we don't need too much glue here. Okay, don't forget to put a little bit at the back there. Alright, on the bottom of the wing. Just make sure you're doing the bottom. A little bit on each one of these. Okay, so we're not going to let the glue dry. And a little bit in between, we're going to move straight ahead with this with wet glue, because we've got Depron sliding on Depron. We want to keep it. We want to keep the glue wet as we work with it. Okay, so basically we just slide the wing in. Okay. We're also going to put some glue along here where we put that line. Just like that, and just tape it down. Now we're going to put the ring ribs onto the wing. So what I've actually done here is I'm just suspending the airframe over the edge of a desk. Okay, so we've got this bottom piece on the airframe here. So it's easier if we just hang it over the edge of the desk, and then the wing, the bottom surface sits flat. Now a couple of things with the ribs. You can see here there's a little hole in each of the ribs. Well, that hole sort of denotes the bottom of the rib, so you know that actually goes downwards. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to start with the largest one here. Now we're only going to put the glue from about here. Okay, once again, we're not putting glue on these tabs. They're just for positioning. Okay, so we come all the way up here. Maybe a bit of a dab of glue there where it slots on over the carbon rod. Okay, then we just push that down in place, just wiggle it a bit. Okay, now for this one, you've got the servo attached already, and that servo wire just goes through that square hole there and into the airframe. So we'll just put that in there and leave that in there for later. Okay, so that's the first rib. Just make sure that the ribs are well seated and that they're vertical. And we just continue with the rest of them. A little bit of a blob in the gap there, where it goes, where it covers, goes over the top of the carbon rod. Okay, a little bit of a wiggle to get it to sit down properly. Okay, so we'll just continue with the rest of the ribs. So this process is the same for the next wing, so just after you finish this wing, just do exactly the same for the wing on the other side. And we'll get the ribs glued in, and we'll just let the ribs dry. Let the glue dry a bit before moving on to the next section. Okay, you'll notice some extra little holes. These holes here in the wing, and half of them are covered up with the piece of paper there. They're for the air dams. Just be careful with the last rib. Now it looks like it should go this way. Okay, but remember the hole denotes the bottom, so that's actually the bottom. The bottom of the rib curves up a bit. Okay, so don't make a mistake there. So this one here. So on the last one, we're just going to also put a little dab of glue just on the inside here. So this is actually going to attach to the inside there. Okay, and that one just goes on there, like that. Right, so there's the wing ribs. Now with the end rib, okay, the end rib needs to, it needs to pull the Depron around a bit. You can see it's got quite a curve in it. So what we're going to do is for the end one here, just get a bit of focus on there. Okay, for the end one here, we're just going to put a bit of tape on. Okay, just using some model masking tape here, a little bit at the front, just here, a little bit more just in the middle. So we just want to pull the Depron nice and firmly onto the shape of this rib. This rib actually forms it forms a little bit of an upwards slope at the back of the wing, right where I'm working here. And the rib actually does that, it pulls the Depron into shape. Okay, there we go. Let's see if we can get a better view of that. Okay, so we've taped that in there now, and we'll just leave that to dry. we'll just sit that there. Make sure finally all the wing ribs are vertical. Okay, and we'll just let that dry and then continue on with the next wing. Okay, so with the wing attached, what we're going to do now, while we're still able to move these ribs, is we're just going to gently fold the front of the wing over. Okay, just with your right hand, in this case, just fold the wing over. And with my left hand, I'm just going to pull back here to pull it into place. So what we're going to do is just pull it back and clip these in here. Just make sure they're neat and flush. Okay, so then we're going to work out from the middle of the wing to the end of the wing, and we're just going to make sure that all of these lugs clip in place. Now if they don't, you can just move them like this. Okay, we can see that one there is clipped in. Another thing you can do is you can just get a pair of tweezers, and sometimes you can come in from the back here and just adjust where they need to be and just get them to line up and clip in. Okay, so we work our way out. You might have to work the front of the wing here just to get them to line up. Okay. Alright, so just ensure that the wing can totally clip in there. Alright, once that's done, just open it up again. We're now going to glue in place the wing spars. So it's a longer piece of carbon rod. Now this piece of carbon rod is going to go into this little slot just here, and we're literally just going to force it in through there. There's a little bit of a cavity behind there. We're going to put a bit of glue there and force it in through there, and then it's going to slot down into these little slots here in the ribs. And the last rib here, just move the piece of tape if it's in the way. Okay, right. So we'll just get some UHU glue, and we'll put a little bit of glue in all of those places. Just work our way up the wing, all the way up there with just a dab of glue in each one. So this goes into the slot here. Put it in on this angle. There's a little bit of a cavity there, just force it in until it hits the wood, and then just bend it back, and we're just going to put it into these slots one at a time all the way out to the end of the wing. Okay, now you can see at the end of the wing here it's just sticking out a bit too much. That's okay, we can push it back into the cavity a bit until it's flush here. Okay, once again, just check that all of your ribs are vertical, and check that the spar is pushed down flat. Okay, can come out a little bit now. Okay, once that's done, a final check. Make sure the top surface of the wing can fold down. Maybe the ribs have moved. Okay, that one needs to come over a bit. Okay, so now we're all good to glue the wing together. Okay, so we're going to move through this. We're not going to wait for the glue to dry on there. We want everything to remain wet while we're working, so we can move things a little bit. So first of all, we're just going to put a small amount of glue along the trailing edge of the wing here. So just along here. So we put the glue here first, it's going to dry there first. Okay, and that's what we want, because when we press the wing down at the back at the end, we just want it to stick instantly. So we'll just make it nice and thin there, just so it dries well. Okay, so once we've done that, we're going to continue with the rest of the wing. Okay, so we're going up over here in the groove there, all the way around to the front. Just a little bead of glue in all of those. Okay, so we're going to work our way out, coming along the rib, around the front. Just put a bead of glue at the front of the rib. Okay, a little bead of glue there, and then a little bit on the spar, down to the back. Alright, move down here. Okay. Okay, so this is by far the probably the trickiest part of the build, getting all this lined up as we glue it finally. Okay, so that's all put together. Have some tape ready as well. Okay, some little pieces of model masking tape. Just have them ready to put on the back of the wing. So we'll just take our tape away here. Alright, so once again we just work the top over. Okay, just pull it back here, clip it in and make sure it's nice and flush along here. Okay, so I'm pushing the front of the wing with my right hand. Okay, if we need to, just move the ribs. Okay, so it clips in place. Okay, working the front of the wing. Those ones clipped in well. This one needs to be moved a little bit. Okay, and then down to the end of the wing here. Okay, now on the end of the wing, we're just going to use a little bit of masking tape on the end of the wing, because that final wing rib, that's the one that really shapes the end of the tip of the wing. So we're just going to put a few bits of model masking tape there, just to hold the foam down, and especially on this trailing edge part here. Okay, that's actually shaping a little bit of an upward deflection on the wing. Okay, press the back of the wing together, just check all your ribs the notches are in there properly. This is seated well here. Okay, and what we might do, if it hasn't stuck that well, maybe just a couple of pieces of masking tape along the back of the wing here. There we go, just to hold that in position. Okay, so that's what the wing should look like. Now if we have a look from the back, we'll just squeeze it together, make sure we don't have any gaps like that one there. Okay, you might want to just, after a minute or so, come back to it and just squeeze it again. Okay, now you can see on the wingtip, okay, you can see, let me try and get this in focus. Okay, so on the wingtip, this does tend to deflect up a little bit here, and that's what the final wing rib actually does. It causes that little upward deflection there. Okay, so that's sort of, it gives the equivalent of having some washout on the wing. Okay, so that's what the wing should look like, and what we're going to do is just continue on and do the other wing, and then we'll be done. So once you've got the wings completed, it should look pretty much like this. Okay, next thing to do is to glue these pieces in, and these pieces will actually push the seat these down and actually keep them pushed down in there. Okay, now of course you got the left and the right one. So the piece of wood goes on the outside, so this one goes on this side here. So we're just going to glue them in place now. Okay, so with these, quite important is that you don't get glue on the back here. So this is where your canopy is going to slide in through here. So if we look at this one, if we glue this one in here, we don't want glue on the back here. So we're going to put a small amount of glue on here and spread it out with a matchstick. We're going to wipe up what we don't need and just make sure that we don't get any glue squeezing out the side. So I'll start on this one here. Okay, so not too much glue at all. Using a matchstick just to spread the glue out. Okay, and if there's too much glue, just wipe it off. Okay, so once again, the piece of wood is going to be on the outside. So we'll just push that down into there. Okay, just get it flush. Flush at the back. We'll do the same thing with the other side. A bit of glue. Not too much glue. To spread the glue out with a matchstick. Okay. So we just seat that down in there. Push it down hard. Make sure it's flush on the left hand side here. Just flush there. Flush at the back. Okay. And there's how our airframe looks so far. Okay, trying to do a little bit of sanding. What we're going to do is actually sand the trailing edge here on the wing. What we're going to do is actually just put it over the side of a table here. So we're actually going to line the back of the wing up with the back of this table here. Okay, hold it there. And we're actually going to just sand the wing like this. Just a couple of sands is all we need. Okay, so basically we just want to sand a little bit of the back of the wing off there, just to bring it into a taper. Okay, while we're here, we might just give the canopy a couple of sands, just to help it slip in. All you need is just literally a couple of strokes of sandpaper, and that should be enough. Okay, so with that, the canopy should slide in. Now it's okay for it to be a little bit tight. If it's too tight, just give it a couple more sands. Okay, and try it again. So it just should just slide in a little bit firm, but easily, just like that. And we can use this thing here to remove it. There we go. So don't make it too loose. Alright, so at this stage you might want to put the decals on. I like to get the decals and just attach them to a blade that makes them easier to position. So we'll stick them onto the blade. We can then hold the airframe, and using the blade we can just get them in the right position. Once they're in the right position, just hold them, take the blade out, and you can just rub them on like that. Okay, so that's those ones. You'll also get some of these decals. So these ones here actually need to be cut. You can actually have to cut around them. Okay, so these are the caution stickers that go around where the prop spins. So these are actually not for decoration. These ones serve a purpose as well. These ones stop the damage to the foam if the prop hits it. So of course on this plane we're using a prop saver, and so that means when you land, the prop can sometimes twist sideways and hit the foam of the wing. So these pieces of sticker actually stop the prop from damaging the wing at the back. Okay, so we'll have a look at that. What we're going to do here is we're going to use our sharp edge again, and we're just going to pre-crease them there and along there where that black piece is. So just fold them like that. So it makes like a little bit of a U shape like that. That's how we want to pre-crease it. Okay, and then we're just going to stick these on. Okay, so let's have a look. This one is going to go on this side of the wing here. Okay, Right, so we just lined up maybe about 2 or 3 mil gap. See, there's about a 2 mil gap there, and level with the back of the wing, and then just fold them on, just gently press them down like that. Okay, and that's where they go on. So then when the prop strikes this part of the wing here, when you land, it doesn't damage the foam. Okay, so that's the decals if you want to use the standard decals. So the next part is attaching the air dams. So these are the air dams here. So we'll just cut them out from the plastic. Okay, so 2 on each wing. You can see where they go. Okay, now these are not for decoration. Okay, these are actually important for the aerodynamics, so make sure you do put them on. Okay, so that's them there. So putting them on, they all go on the same way. Basically what we need to do, they go around the front of the wing. So they're going to go around the front here like this. And these ones here, you can twist them. Just you'll actually slide them onto the wing like that, and then move them up. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to run a line of glue from the back hole here all the way to the front hole, and just keep going straight around the front of the wing. So we'll just put a little bit of glue here, straight to there, and we'll turn over to the bottom, and we'll do exactly the same thing on the bottom, all the way up to the front of the wing, and then just join the two up on the front of the wing there with a little bit more glue. Okay, so this is the tricky bit, just sort of sliding this into place, and then on the top of the wing, just twisting them, getting them in place. Okay, so you probably got too much glue there, so you can get a little match or something and get the excess glue out. Okay, what we want to do is first of all look at the wing, just make sure that these are straight. Okay, they're not twisted. Try and get lined up there with the camera so you can see. Okay, so it's nice and straight and 90 degrees to the wing surface. Okay, so just going to attach all of the air dams in the same way. Alright, so this is what it looks like with the air dams in place. Okay, all the air dams are attached there. So the next thing we're going to do is attach the wingtips. So remember we made two opposite wingtips. Okay, so we need to choose the correct one for each side. This is the non-sanded side. Okay, and they're just going to be glued on there like that. Okay, we just get them nice and flush with the bottom of the wing. Okay, so a little bit of glue. Try and go to the edge of the foam, a little bit of a dot of glue there on the foam tabs. Okay, just set them in place, and just make sure on the bottom of the wing, just make sure that they're flush, nice and flush there. Okay, after they dry, you can just hit these little lugs here with a little bit of sandpaper and just round them off a little bit. Okay, so we'll put that one on. We'll put the other one on the other side. Okay, once again, turning it over, and we're just going to make sure that it's flush all the way around here. Just press it on, make sure it's flush there. Okay, so there's the wingtips attached. Okay, next thing we're going to do is put the motor mount spacers on. Okay, so these motor mount spacers are these ones here. Okay, so we need two of them, of course. Okay, so these come in the kit. So once again, we're going to use the little piece of carbon rod, and we're going to attach them with that to line them up. But the first thing we need to do is drill out these holes. So these holes are going to be full of glue from all of the gluing on the bulkhead here. So you have to decide which holes you're using, depending on which motor you're using. And we'll just use a 1.2mm drill bit, and we'll just drill those holes out and just clear any glue out of those holes. Okay, so you don't need to drill all of the holes out, you just need to drill the holes that you're using, whether you're using an AP03 motor or one of the 8200 or 10,000 kilovolt motors. Okay, so once you've done that, you can just get your wood glue. Now in my case, for this one, I'll be using these holes here. So a little bit of glue on the hole, just like that. Now we just want to get it lined up properly. So these actually give down thrust to the motor. So we'll just put this into the hole there, and then press the piece of wood up against it. Make sure it's nice and centered. Take that out, and there we go. Okay, we'll do the next one now. Same thing again. Just put it onto the carbon rod through the middle of the hole. Okay, and then push the piece of wood up with your fingers. Just get it nice and centered. I might just poke this in here to clear out any glue in the middle of the hole. Okay, so there we go. There's the spacers for the motor mount. Alright, so the next thing is to attach the control surfaces. I'm just using 1.2mm blend dome tape here. So I'm just going to cut a piece off. Okay, so you can use a couple of pieces along the length, or you can just use one piece along the whole length. I like to use one piece. Now we're just going to put this onto the surface of the wing. There we go. Right, so we'll attach the blend dome to the wing first. Okay, there it is there. So the blend dome just sort of curls up a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're actually just going to pull it down with our fingers. Okay, just like this. Now remember the bevel is on the top here of the control surface because it hinges upwards. And we're just going to, on the end here, where the tip is, we're just going to leave about 1 to 2 mil gap. And we're just going to tack it on there. Just let it touch the tape. We're leaving a little bit of a gap, maybe about 0.5 mil gap. All the way along. Okay, and then letting go. Okay, and there's the aileron attached. Okay, a little bit too much tape there, so we'll trim it off. Okay, let's try doing the other side. Same thing again. So on this aircraft, we're actually putting the blend dome tape on the bottom of the wing. Need about that much. Blend dome goes on the bottom of the wing, and the control surface pivots upwards. Okay, there we go. So once again, just holding the blend dome down out of the way with the fingers until we get the control surface lined up. Okay, about 2mm gap there, and about 0.5 millimeter away from the wing. So when it's in the right spot, we can bring it down and just let it touch the tape. Right there, and then up the top end. There we go. Right, and there's the control surfaces attached. Right, once you've gone ahead and actually installed your radio gear in there, it's time to connect up the control surfaces. So what we're going to do is on this model, just turn it over here, so the line on the bottom of this the vertical fin here actually gives you the correct height for your elevator to start off with. So we'll just put a little piece of tape there and straight over the edge. Okay, so that gives us the control surface deflected up in line with the bottom there at the right level. So we'll just do the other side again. Okay, down there. Just line this up the right level. Okay, just so that's the right level there. Fold it over. Okay, and that's the correct level to start with for your control surface. Right there. Okay, so we've included some parts in the kit. Let's just have a look at these. Okay, so here's your control linkages. So what we're going to do, what I like to do is actually just use a little bit of UHU glue, and we just put a little bit on the end of the rod. And then we just attach the control linkage like so. Okay, so we've got some heat shrink as well. Feed the heat shrink on. Okay, so refer to the manual to see where the control word should come up to. But let's see if we can get a good look at this. There we go. Okay, so that's what we're looking for there. Okay, so you just apply some heat to that and shrink them on, and we'll go on and do the next part. Alright, so once we've got those pieces of heat shrink on there, we can just shrink them. Okay, this thing's actually a foam cutter, if you're wondering what this is. Just using a foam cutter to shrink the heat shrink there. Okay, so these are the control surface, these are the ends that are actually going to attach to the servos. Okay, so that clip there attaches to the servos. Alright, so we'll just have a look at one here. So make sure your servos are centered. Turn your radio on and make sure your servos are centered. And then this piece here with the adjustable section, okay, that one there actually attaches to the control surface. Okay, like this. Feed a piece of heat shrink up here. Okay, a bit of heat shrink up there. A little bit of glue just to help it stick. The glue actually forms a really good bond when you apply heat to it. And so you apply some heat to that and the glue just sets and makes the whole joint a lot stronger. Okay, so we'll just slide that down over there. Okay, so one last check that we've got the alignment correct here. Okay, the bottom of the wing is level. Okay, that's nice there. So once that's in place, just use your whatever sort of heat source. You might use a soldering iron maybe. and just apply some heat to that, and it should be set in the right spot. And any fine adjustments from here on you can actually do by adjusting this little hook here. Okay, so between adjustments on the transmitter and that hook, you can get everything adjusted to the right level. Make sure you take your tape off before you test. Okay, so that's how we do the control surfaces. Okay, so just a few things finally with your setup. Now, make sure that you have your control throws set, so you're only looking for about a 2mm movement. Okay, I'll just reattach this one. You're only looking for about a 2mm movement on your control surfaces with full up elevator. And the same thing, full aileron movement, 2mm. Okay, that's all they're going to move, 2mm. So you're actually going to need to probably dial down your throws a little bit, maybe. And just remember, if you're using a smaller battery, this one's a 300 milliamp hour battery. I've got a little bit of ballast attached to the battery there too. So also very important is to get your balance point right. Okay, you can put a piece of wire through here and just hold the plane up. Okay, so it should balance level. Okay, at that balance point, so the wings should be perfectly level. So this, as I said, this battery here is a 300 milliamp hour battery, and I need to add a little bit of ballast to that, and I actually need to put it up level here with the front. If I'm using a 700 milliamp hour battery, for example, I wouldn't need to add any ballast to that. Okay, so get your control throws right and your balance point right, and just refer to the manual for that, and you'll be all set up. Okay, so that's ready to go. So here we've built the white version. The other one here is the version with the black wing tips and body. Okay, that's all there is to it.